Breakdowns.
Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. This is a special edition episode. First of all, I got someone next to me here.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me? I'm Daniel.
No, I wasn't.
I don't know if you didn't mean to say anything. You just said
speak when spoken to. I did speak to you. I'm just kidding.
bitch ass.
I'm gonna start all over because people are gonna think I'm an asshole. But
We gotta fix that.
hold on, welcome back. Okay, we're already off the rails. It's fine. This is episode 83, and this is just a fun episode with some friends today. And we have DJ on the other side. We have Ryker and Dusty. How are y'all?
Sleep.
Pretty good.
No, good. Yeah.
Good.
Pretty good.
I mean, Ryker, I'm happy that you're pretty good after being a little bad on the way here.
Dude, yeah, it was wild. I'm stopping at a red light literally like 7 minutes away, and somebody runs into the back of the truck, bro. It was weird as hell.
Yeah.
Their whole front end got fucked, and I got like a dent. So
I mean,
blessed.
Yeah.
Hashtag blessed. But yeah, gotta sort out all that mess later. But
Dang, what if they find this later and they're like evidence? And
I mean, he got hit.
I got hit.
yeah,
Like,
never mind.
That's like I was telling Dusty the story before that. When we lived at the apartment, there's a parking lot next door where we used to park all the time, and I just bought my car. The similar to like the car that hit you, like the little Honda. And I was backing up, and I was like turning, and I kind of rolled over something, and I was like, "Oh shit, let me roll the other way." And like I was staring at what I had hit, and I hit the back of something. I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "It's one of the neighbors." I'm like, "Do I just take off or so?" I don't know what to do, and it's fucking DJ's truck. And I like left it. I'm like, hey, just so you know, I backed into your truck. Nothing happened to your truck. My car is like got a big ass dent, but
Bro, that truck's all fucked up though.
That truck's
got that windows fucked up.
That's a different truck, but the other truck,
Oh, the white truck
was also fucked up.
Before I
Love
came
that truck.
here, I put the address in Google Maps, and I was like, oh, there's DJ's truck.
Oh, the white
before
one?
the window
Yeah.
got
Can you-
knocked out.
Oh, the window is still rolled up.
It looks so nice.
Before,
Yeah, no, I missed the little S10. That shit was cool.
Yeah.
You like that truck so much that you bought it again.
Yeah, I've had two.
Yeah.
I've had at least two of them. Yeah. I don't know. I like the they remind me of like the GMC Jimmys. I don't know if you ever look at those, but I'm not much of a car guy, but something about Chevy S10s and Chevy Blazers I enjoy.
I mean, the thing about trucks is they're durable as fuck, which is tested
they
today.
come in handy, bro. That's for sure.
It's like you got hit, and then yours, your truck's like mine. It's like the tiny little dent. I've done that actually with the car I had before, the Toyota Corolla. I like rear-ended somebody because they like braked out of nowhere, and I hit the shit out of them, and I'm like, fuck. And he was like, he looked at his truck, and it's like an old school truck, so it's all like steel and metal or whatever.
Yeah.
And he looks like, yeah, there's nothing on mine. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, I'm good. We don't have to do anything with the cops. I'm like, I hit you, bro. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, like, let me go get my stuff. And he like goes to his truck and like takes off. And I'm like, I was like, I don't understand. Like, I'm there like explaining to the insurance like people. I'm like, I guess it's a hit and run. Like, but I hit the truck, but they ran.
I don't know what y'all do in this
the
situation.
lady was cool. Like the insurance lady was like, well, yeah, technically it's your fault, but they ran, so I'm gonna put it here as if they like hit you. So like, yeah, all my shit got covered because it wouldn't have,
Nice.
or like, so like, yeah,
Like,
she was
thanks,
nice
guy.
for the one. Someone like in the insurance was like actually fucking nice. But I've had like, that Corolla had like the worst fucking luck of all time. Like I got hit. Someone backed into me in an IHOP parking lot one time. Someone hit me while I was at work. Like literally, like. I used to work at a bank, so they had like the drive-through lanes or whatever, and there was parking back there because it's the one in the stockyard, so where Billy Bob's is at, so that giant lot that they have. So I'm parked there, and the line I guess backs up that much, and somebody literally tries to get out of line, backs up, hits my car, moves it out of the spot, goes to the ATM, just didn't even leave, did not notice. Like one of the customers literally like calls up, he's like, hey, like that lady that's at the ATM just hit that car that's right there, and I'm like, whose car? I was like, whose car? I had to go look, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, I don't even think she knows because she just went to the drive-through, but Dude, I got so pissed because I like had everything for the cops. I found out the exact time the lady was at the ATM, so I had her like bank information. There's a camera on the ATM. I was like, oh, I got your call. The cop showed up. I'm like, hey, I got everything for you. Here you go. They asked me 3 times for a statement. Like, they kept mailing it and delaying it. I was just like, fuck, I don't care. The car's just fucked now. Like, it's fine. Like, it was just a dent, and I'm just going to live with it. But the other thing that happened is my tire got stolen. You heard that right? Sorry, a wheel. Yeah, just one wheel. One wheel.
Fuck, I really need this wheel, bro.
I swear, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? Just the one. The hardest one to get to.
Just like, there's one.
Yes, dude. Oh, you have no idea how fucking like done I was for the fucking day. Like, it was. I had just gotten there at 8:30 and like got to work. I parked. Went like I go to lunch the earliest, so it's like 11, and I'm going to lunch, and I'm rushing because like I only get half an hour, so if I gotta go somewhere, like I gotta go, rush. So I was like rushing, and then like walked past the car and looked, and like kind of just did one of those. Bro, I'd never seen an actual like car on a cinder block, but I saw my fucking car only the front wheel was gone on a cinder block, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Like, I just didn't know what to do. Like, even the guy like who was trying to tow it was like, how the fuck am I gonna do this? Like, cause it's parked in, and like I can't get to it. I don't know how the fuck he did it, but he did it, and I'm just like, bro, I don't even know. Like, I was mad for an hour, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna be mad. Like, I'm wasting time.
It's such a phenomenon. It's hard to be mad about after a certain point, I'm sure. Like,
yeah, that's kind of why. Yeah, that's kind of on top of like other reasons. I mean, aesthetically, it looked like garbage, but that car was great. Like, it ran perfect, but it was also one of those things like maybe it's time for a new car just to get rid of whatever like fucking bad luck it has. Which
that all happened when you were working at the bank?
Working at the bank. Yeah, I was parked behind.
If I was gonna mess with someone's car, the last place I'd do would be a bank parking lot.
There's like cameras.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: like they used to be fucking assholes and not let us park at the bank parking lot. There's a lot. It's Billy Bob's parking, and it's behind the Walgreens. That's at the stockyards. And we would park over there. So like it was in between 2 cars, so they were hidden like the whole time or whatever. But then like I got pissed and I like had to talk to like the managers and stuff, and we're like, hey, I'm fucking not gonna park back there anymore because like I've gotten hit and I had my wheels like it's like, that's not even our parking. I'm gonna park in our parking. They were like, yeah, no, you can't do that. That's for the customers. I was like, I don't give a shit. I was like, I'm sorry. Like I go, that's the least that you can do because I'm like, we don't have because if y'all want to know, the bank doesn't have cameras outside except for those ATM ones. Like, so I was just like, there's not even a fucking camera out here or anything. Like, so what the fuck? The least I can do is park next to the building we work in. You know what I mean? Like, it's so stupid. Like, that's the least you can do. It's like, no, I'm sorry, you can't do that. I'm like, well, fuck you. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't do shit about it. And that car was just bad. Not a good time, man. It was just some bad luck.
This is my second time I've been rear-ended. Actually, got rear-ended in my old car.
I thought you were setting up a joke. I'm sorry.
Hey, this ain't the first time I got rear-ended.
Took a left turn.
No, I was leaving an old job a couple years ago, and my old car was already like going to shit, and this lady just like rammed into the back of me, and I got out to look at it, and nothing happened. It was it was an old 2009 Nissan Altima. And I was thinking for sure, I was like, yes, I can get a new car because this is screwed. Dude, nothing. There was like maybe a scratch. And I'm just like, come on, man.
Do some damage here.
Like, it wasn't that hard that she hit me, but I'm just like, damn, dude. Like, you could have hit me a little bit harder.
Yeah. You could have got a new car.
Yeah, I could have got a new car, man.
Just let the airbags deploy. I didn't know that. Like, for some reason, like I was just oblivious to that. But like, once the airbags deploy, like it's just fucking total. It's just total. Like, I didn't know how expensive it actually is to replace that fucking system that they don't. They just like, oh, it's total.
Think it is.
It's not.
I mean, they just like you fold up the airbag and put it in there and reset the.
I don't know.
Whatever,
how much
or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess doesn't it bust out the steering wheel?
That's what I thought,
so
right?
It's like you have a hole in your steering wheel now. Like,
I guess so.
It's
Yeah.
probably not going to be even.
And I know with the new ones, like they have those side ones, so it's got to fuck up all that side on the car.
True.
Yeah. I don't know.
That thing's gotta
Fucking
hurt.
I don't know.
Oh, it does.
The
Like,
thing smacking you in the face.
that's why like people like wear glasses and shit. Like it fucks them up sometimes.
Oh man,
Yeah, 'cause it blows like
the only one person.
yeah, Dusty over here is like out of the glasses demo.
Yeah, I've seen just one guy who like drove up on I think it was like a fire hydrant or something, and he was like just trying to back it up off of it. So he does successfully back it up, and he lands, but it lands so hard the truck that it. All you see is like his hat fly out the fucking. It's literally one of my fucking videos. You just see the fucking hat go.
Nice hat, by the way. That's dope.
Yeah, dude. This is Bennett Entertainment, bud. Which is somebody's wife in here. Who's married?
Who? No, it's me. That's me. That's Marissa. I love you, baby.
I had to give a shout out on the podcast. Yeah, and we've been talking about cars. I don't know shit about cars, but
I don't know
me
shit about
either.
cars.
I know
yeah.
how to get rear-ended in a car.
You gotta get like whiplash though.
Nah, man, it wasn't hard at all. Like in either instance, I didn't even move. Like
I've been driving before, and I thought I would have the right of way, but I guess I didn't because some guy didn't take his stop sign and smacked the shit out of me and my dad one time, and like straight up pain from like up my spine to the back of my head. And I was like, oh, this is whiplash. This sucks. And I was like, oh, this hurts. And I just like called the cops, and the guy drove off. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I got lucky in that regard, I guess, both times.
Yeah, I had a friend who would always be. Anytime he got hit, he would like get a lawyer and like get some money out of it. And I'm like, bro, like I'm just like that. To me, like the anxiety I would get from just like having to call a lawyer instead of like sit through all those. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
You
Like I
have to
can't.
be really fucked up to get an injury lawyer.
I don't think so because like they never did. Like it was just like small hits, but they weren't like huge checks. But they were like
Weird.
So this is how we make some
a
money.
grand to like gotta set up.
Like you gotta like there's a whole process. Like you have to make sure you're really hurt. You got to go see chiropractors. Like all this fucking
Chiropractors are a crock, man.
it's real, man. Like,
Dude, have you been to the chiropractor before?
I haven't.
I need
man.
No,
God,
bro.
I need to go so bad.
Yeah, same.
That shit, nah, I don't know, man. I don't trust it.
No?
No.
You don't like it?
What I
No,
want-
I went. So I went because of that one time that I fucked my back up. Do you
Oh
remember?
yeah.
So I was like during the pandemic, I was like working out at home, and I don't know. I was super confident. I was like not doing any like heavy weight or anything. It was at home.
Yeah.
And then something like just happened to my back, and it just felt funny. Like it felt like a little fuzzy, and I'm just like, that just doesn't feel right. And I did like another set, and I'm just like, just feels weird. Like didn't hurt, nothing. Right. I'm just like, it just doesn't feel right. Off. Yeah. And then like an hour passed, and I'm just like, oh, like it was just getting tighter. It felt like, and I'm like, oh, maybe I just like need to stretch it or something. And I was laying on the ground. And I'm just like, oh, no, it's starting to hurt. You know, like 2 hours later. Yeah. Like, it was like an hour increments. And I finally, like, it's hurting pretty bad. So I'm like, I'm just going to go to sleep and sleep it off and whatever. So I go and I lay down in bed and I, like, try to sleep. And I'm like, this shit fucking hurts. I may in and out of, like, sleep for, like, the next hour. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to do something. I'm going to get up. And then I can't. Oh, no. And then literally, like, I'm in bed and I'm just like, oh fuck! Like it fucking like really hurts, and I literally cannot even like roll over like to get off the bed.
I remember this, yeah.
And I called DJ, and I'm just like, hey, are you like home? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm in my room. I need you to come in here and get me up, and like take me to the fucking ER. And he does, yeah, he picks you up. But I mean, they apparently there's nothing they can fucking do other than give you like pain meds, which didn't fucking work. Like literally, like I went to the ER and then I went to the doctor and they were giving me stuff and none of them worked. Muscle relaxers, the fucking whatever pain meds they gave me. I'm like, dude, this shit just fucking sucks. And it wasn't right for like 2 months. But anyway, so like one of the things, like luckily I had insurance, so like they were like, oh, well, you can go to the chiropractor if you want. And I'm like, cool. But literally the first thing they do, they're like, okay, we're gonna like do these like certain things for you, and at the end we're gonna give you a list of like exercises to do at home. And I'm like, okay, should I get those exercises like now so I can just start doing it? He's like, no, we don't give them to you till the end. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, we book this amount of sessions, and I like, that's a weird number. It was like 26 or something like that. And I'm like, okay. And they wanted me, the first week, they wanted me to go every day that week. And there's like a $20, $30, $25 payment every time. Oh, yeah, and I'm just like, that's $125 a week. Yeah. And you want me to, they were like, for the first 2 weeks, we want you to do that. I was like, that's $250. And after that, it was like 3 times. And then when I went to look up like my insurance stuff, it was exactly the amount of sessions that my insurance covered. And I'm like, bro, you just want to like bleed the shit out. I'm like, and it, again, I understand that I'm judging like all chiropractors based on one place, but I'm just like, bro, this is fucking shady. And like I went through it and I'm like, dude, it just feels like a fancy massage like thing that they're doing. And it felt nice, but I'm like, I'm not gonna pay all this fucking money for it, you know? But yeah, it did not help. It was just time. Like it literally was like 2 months before my back felt normal. Ugh. Yeah, it fucking blew.
I was thinking about when you went to when the caterpillar put you in the hospital.
God damn it! That was the one thing about living at the apartment where we used to. We were down the street from the ER, and that was literally like a joke at first. It was like, "Whoa, like if anything happens, the ER is right there." And yeah, like the other thing that happened
years later.
Yeah, now it's gonna take forever. You know what I mean? To get to the hospital. But no, what was they were on
the bushes.
Yeah, so our apartment. Yeah, I mean, you've been before. Remember, there was like a giant like hedge in front of the front door, and there was like a little like if you didn't want to cut around the whole hedge, you could cut through the little bush, and that's what we would always do. I forgot where the fuck I was going or something, and I just like passed through it, and I go and I get in my car, and as soon as I sit in my car, I feel like fucking fire like is on my skin, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I immediately think this was like the Samsung phone thing was happening and like the explosion. So that was in my head. I mean, I didn't have a Samsung, but like it felt like again, it felt like fire to you. It felt like getting burned, but like an immediate thing. And I'm like, my phone just exploded. So I like take out my phone and I'm like, it's fine, but it's still like fucking hurting. And I look and I brush off like it's this little caterpillar looking thing. Okay. And then like it's still fucking like hurting, and then I look and I have like another one which I think you helped me take off because I'm like he's happy. Yeah, he happens to be outside. Oh, we were going to practice, I think. Probably. Yeah, and then like you happen to be outside at the same time. So I'm like, what the fuck? So he comes over and like kicks it off and like get off, but like it just keeps fucking burning. It literally feels like someone's holding a lighter up to my skin. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Like I don't fucking know what to do. And I go inside and I wait and I'm just like looking it up and I like in fucking pain, but I'm like looking up what the fuck are these things? Like, do I need to do something? Like, am I fucking gonna die? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I didn't know caterpillars were poisonous.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, and I look it up, and there are these things called asps. Like ASPS, and they're like these furry looking caterpillars, and there's like different levels to them. Basically, like it's funny because it feels like a damn video game because it's like, if it's like a gray color, you're fine. If it's like a green color, like that's like the medium pain, and then like there's these like black looking ones that like have like gray hairs on them, and they're fucking the worst. So we had the middle ones, but I'm just like, and I'm like, okay, do I go to the ER? And they're like, well, it depends. Like if you feel the pain spreading, then I'm like, well, no, it's isolated. They're like,
it hurts.
Yeah. I'm like, it hurts. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, they were like some of the little like hairs are what like gets stuck, and that's what like keeps it hurting. So they're like, you can grab like some tape. I actually called a friend and they knew what it was. They're like, you can kind of grab some tape and like try to take some of them off and then just wait the pain out. And I'm like, okay. But then I start feeling it go down like my legs, and then like, and I'm like, oh nah, we gotta fucking go. I gotta fucking go now.
Gotta go to the ER.
Yeah, but it was nothing. Again, same thing. They just gave me pain meds, and luckily it was gone by the next day. But it was like crazy. But we went back and looked at the bush. The entire hedge is fucking. It's a. What infestation, bro? Like there's gotta be thousands.
There's a lot.
There was
never went that direction.
It was so fucking crazy. It took forever before we ended up going, but we always had to because they blended in so well into the hedge that it was nuts. And I'm just like, bro, and we call the apartments. We're like, bro, like what the fuck are these things? Like you need to get rid of them now. And then, because I was like, dude, there's like, because there were kids at the time, like in the apartment complex, and I'm just like, if I'm fucking over here like losing my fucking mind on these, like, a kid's gonna fucking like freak the fuck out on one of these. And they like got the whatever thing for them, but like it took them like 2 weeks, I think, before they started spraying. But
they don't care.
Yeah,
they don't care.
Not at all.
We have to pay money to take care of our residents.
Yeah, definitely.
They just be chilling. They always were chilling, drinking tequila, like at the pool. They'd always one of the maintenance guys. They would always like, be hanging out. One of them was cool. I did like one of them.
The Mexican dude. Yeah. I forgot his name. I think his name was Fernando, but he hooked up. He knew we had a cat and didn't say shit. Yeah. He was like, "Hey, just
Yeah, we had Zenny for a while now.
Yeah, we never paid that pet deposit. Fuck that. That shit's a ripoff, man. What the fuck?
That's
like,
wild.
Yeah, you have to pay.
That's where I'm at with my apartment. I didn't pay it, but then the landlords came by because something was messed up, like with the shower or something. They came and looked at it, And she came in. She's like, "Oh, I love cats. Like, we love cats. They're so cute." And I was like, "Fuck, all right." So we're just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
And she never said anything. Never brought it up afterwards. So I'm like, "Cool.
All right, man. I'm in the
You're cool.
clear.
I'm cool. Don't worry about your $600 I've never paid you."
It's a shit. Like, cause
It
it's
was like
crazy.
$300
That's
per
crazy.
cat. I have 2 cats. I'm like, I'm not paying you $600.
and some of them is like an initial deposit, and then like it's a monthly charge that you get after that. That's the way ours was, and I'm just like, bro, like, what are they? I go, I'm just gonna. I was like, we're just gonna keep them until if they say something, then we'll start paying
Then
them. But if
cough up.
I'm
That's
not
how
gonna
I
fuck.
always
I'll
do
tell
it.
them that I just got the cat like now. But I remember every time we had to get something fixed, like we had to hide all the
Hide
cat
them,
shit, and like I would be like, because I forgot what we were fixing one time. I'm like, I go, hey, you need to take the cat and like take him for a ride, and that was like when he got all sick in your car, right?
Yeah, he shitted on my seats.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So Zinni doesn't like the car.
He doesn't like the car ride. I've taken him a few times where I'm just like, hey, bud, like, oh, let's go run some errands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he freaks out the moment you go out the door because he's like, what the fuck is this place? And then you put him in the car. He's like, I don't like this. And he just doesn't like it. The only thing that helps is if you're driving with him, you have to like consistently just pat him and comfort him. And be like, hey, it's cool. We're chilling. We're just driving around. And then because he gets so scared, he just shits himself. And I'm just like,
man.
all right, well.
Then you're dealing with that while you're.
While you're driving, because
driving.
I was driving, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
You can smell it. I was like, I love
That
this
was
guy
whenever
so
I
much,
moved
but God damn
here
it.
from Georgetown, which is like, I forget how long of a drive that is, but I mean, it's a pretty decent like day drive. And I had to, take Edison with me. I didn't have Zuko at the time, but I was bringing him. I put him in his crate, had him, in my passenger seat. And he would just not shut up the whole way. Like, I'm not just. So finally, I like got to a gas station or something, like filled up, got in, was like, all right, I'm going to let you out. We'll see how this goes. And he was fine as long as he was like literally in my lap. So I was like driving with that. But then he started crawling around like in the floorboard, like underneath the pedals. And I was like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Got to slam on the brakes.
Yeah. Got a little dicey once or twice, but we figured it out.
I got the total opposite problem, man. So
Really?
Frankie, she loves going in the truck. We'll take the 2 dogs, Hank and Orbit sometimes, and she likes riding along too. So she'll get up on the dash and just chill.
See,
and
I like
drive.
that. Yeah.
That'd be cute.
We went and looked at Christmas lights, and she was just like, "Whoa, what the fuck, dude?"
Yeah.
Loves that shit, and like we'll go hide in the back and sit with them. Like, I don't know. She also loves outside, and like won't let her run around because like she'll run away because she loves it that much. But like we got a little outside house for her, and I don't know. She's all about the outer world that's not inside.
Heard. Yeah, these cats will come up. There's like 6 of them. There's a few.
A few cats.
And they hang out out here, and Zenny will like just kind of scratch. And I'm like, oh, let's go out there. Let's go see what's going on. Then he freaks out.
the
He's like,
biggest
no,
switch.
no, no. I'm like,
And
bro,
he'll run out. Like if you open the door, like,
Yeah.
and he's in the mood, like to be like, fuck, he busts out, and I'm like, fuck, I lost him,
Yeah.
and like he just runs to the porch, and like everything else like is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And he's like freezes. So then you'll just literally go and pick him up, and he's fine. Yeah, he's like he just can't handle it.
I believe. No.
man.
he'll scratch and he like meows at the cats. I'm like, bro, those cats will fuck you up, bro. Like,
man.
those cats are
Cats are
Street
vicious,
cats.
They
man.
don't give a fuck about you, bro.
But fuck, Zenny Kool-Aid man out of my fucking window, like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, dude, like straight up, like it's literally where I'm. God damn it! I get home and it's right before the ice storm. Actually, this past year, and then I came home tired. I'm laying down. Zenny's in the room with me, and then all of a sudden he's not, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like the door's open, so he probably like left the room or whatever. And I'm like starting to pay attention. I'm like, why is it cold like in here? And I look and I'm like, I have like a little curtain, so I'm like, what the fuck? And I look and it's like it's noisier now from outside. I'm like, it's fucking there's a hole there, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I was like, I look and I'm like, I'm like, oh shit. And then I start like looking for Zenny like everywhere, like in the house. I'm like, he's not fucking here. I'm like, oh my fucking god, this dude jumped and broke the window.
He just went straight through.
It's an older house, so like the windows, I guess it literally didn't shatter. It just like broke off a piece. So like where he like
That's awesome.
I picture him doing the Catwoman just and it just popped out. But no, like then I go and I like run around the house and I'm just like yelling, like I was like, Zad! Like I'm like the neighbors probably think I'm fucking nuts. And then he's where he landed. right next to the window is where he's at. He's just chilling. He's like, because it's like too much. He's like, I'm not doing anything. I just find him there. He's just like, doesn't say shit. Like he doesn't meow or anything. I'll just like pick him up and I'm like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? And literally it ices the next fucking week and all I have is like tape over it. And I'm like, God damn it. Yeah, I was freezing in my fucking room, man. Did y'all get stuck anywhere?
Well, I mean, I didn't leave the house for like a couple days.
Yeah.
When that happened, but the road like slowly melted and it was doable to go to Chevron and get some soda.
Yeah.
But
I was fine.
Yeah.
I did the same. I just like stayed at home for a day or two, and then I was like, all right, I gotta go get some groceries. But I drive a Forester, so I hopped in that thing, and I ended up just like cruising around for a while. I was having a blast. Yeah. It's like snow is like what that car is built for, basically.
Hell yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, not mine. Man. Shit, I would be sliding over. I just left that. I was like, I'm not doing shit. Like, I'm not doing anything. But this one wasn't that bad. Yeah, the past one, which we also lucked out. The fucking shitty ass one
2 years ago sucked.
That one, we got lucky, and I felt a little guilty because like our power never went out, like at all. But we were on the hospital grid because we were right next to them. Like, oh, these bitches ain't going out.
Over in Fairmount. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit. But like people over there, like, oh, like we haven't had power or water in like 4 days. I'm like, oh, I'm over here playing,
sitting wrapped in a blanket, playing PlayStation. Like, damn, that sucks.
Like, and we were like, we reached out to some people and family, and we're like, hey, y'all can come over.
But it's also like getting out there.
If you can get through.
If you can, yeah, that shit was. Yeah, I felt a little bad, pals. I'm like, hey, I'm happy. I even went out. We went out. We're like fucking around in this thing, in the ice and shit. But, yeah, it's some Texas shit, man. We don't get that shit too often. We ain't ready for that.
It's fun for a minute, yeah.
Yeah, fuck this heat.
Cold weather, man. That's where it's
cold weather. Cold weather.
Hoodie weather.
Cold weather. Cold weather. This heat is bullshit.
Yeah, this sucks. Like you can ditch layers if you get hot, but like
it only takes so much off. You can only get more on.
Yeah. Cold as fucking.
I mean,
bro, that kitchen was fucked up,
dude. That was so hot.
Yeah, they've been working in the kitchen. Yeah, and there's like a small AC unit, but it doesn't do like much. We had like code compliance come and be like, hey, it's too hot back here, so we like have like a window unit now. Mm-hmm. And it's tolerable. Yeah. It's still not great.
It only took
way better.
Kitchen. It only took 4 years.
Fucking A. But like, I don't know. Being back there sucks. I don't know how y'all do it. Fuck that shit, bro.
I don't know.
We built different.
We built different. But how did everybody meet? Was it I mean,
all of us?
Yeah. I mean, I met all y'all through Daniel. Yeah.
I think
I met you before. I met Ryker before I met y'all.
We met a few years ago through music and like mutual friends and shit.
Right.
And then
shows at like the Grotto and
yeah.
Wow, Grotto's gone.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Grotto.
Back in the good old days.
Those fun times. And then
that was like right when I first moved here, because I think I've only been here like 6 or 7 years, something like that. So or that was like me moving here and like kind of meeting new people in the music scene and making new friends. Ran into Ryker.
Yeah, I got here 2016. 2017 is when I really started mingling and meeting folks out in the Fort Worth music scene. And then like you and I met at the Post in 2019 when it first opened. And
you just hit it off really well.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I think we meet through the Post as well.
I think the Post connected us. Yeah, pretty much.
I remember some of my first times going to the Post were the Monday night singer-songwriter nights. They were so fucking sick.
I miss those sometimes. It was a good time.
Sometimes.
Well, I like that.
That was when I was on my height, because I worked there when we first opened, and then when like pandemic thing came around, they had to cut down staff and stuff, so I went away and then came back to work there again. And I think your songwriter nights were whenever I was like gone, so I was like, well, I don't want to go back. Not that it was like that, I didn't do anything malicious or anything, but
sorry, we were talking about the open mics and it made me think kind of an oddball guy, but super super kind, drank Dr. Peppers all the time.
Robbo,
dude.
R.I.P. Robbo, man.
That's
we got
what I wanted to
legend.
Say.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, he was such a kind soul.
Yeah.
I mean,
Robbo,
little little wacky sometimes.
A little wacky,
but
yeah.
I mean, we all are, dude. I mean,
yeah.
I look in the fucking mirror. What a fucking wacko. You know? It's fine, like, but yeah, super good dude. Wrote some solid songs. Wrote some strange songs sometimes, but he was his own guy, and I really respected that about him. Like, he kind of just did his own thing, and like, I know he fought a lot of battles, and you know, he was been sober for like 20 something years, maybe longer than that. I don't even know how long, but he was seriously sober for forever, and like beat addiction and all kinds of shit. So he's pretty admirable guy, man.
Did you ever do the open mics at Live Oak?
I miss Live Oak. I just didn't know about it.
Heard.
I think I might have been too late.
Gotcha.
I might have closed by the time I got it in the
Gotcha.
scene, but.
So you said what, 2016 you got here?
Yeah, I moved here back here.
Where did you move from?
Shreveport, Louisiana. I was there. I'm a Texan first and foremost. Let's not get it twisted.
Okay. I was like, hold on.
I was born in East Texas. Yeah,
Is it East Shreveport speed or what?
I mean, Shreveport pretty much is East Texas for the most part. Like,
you're not wrong, yeah.
I mean, same shit. Pine trees and rednecks. Like,
see, we didn't have any trees in my part of Texas.
No, there's some
where I
cool
came
stuff
from,
there too.
There's a lot of rednecks, but no trees.
No trees.
A lot of rednecks, no tree.
Next album.
Yeah, next album. Rednecks and trees.
Rednecks and trees. That sounds pretty good.
That's Morgan Wallen's next hit.
You can't bring it up, fucking Morgan Wallen. Rod Swap.
I think he shaved his head. Like, I saw something online about that. I'm like, dude, you had a mullet like 5 minutes ago. Now everybody's gonna be bald for style, not because they have to.
for style. I'm thinking about that. When did you make the move?
Dude, so my hair started running away from me when I was probably like 23-ish, and I didn't fully accept it until I was like 26. I'd always wear like beanies and hats and stuff.
Yeah.
And then my old roommate Jacob,
cool guy.
yeah, super cool guy.
Real cool guy.
R.I.P. Vodio. I don't know if they're still a band or not, but
Shit, I forgot about Vodio.
I don't know.
Damn.
But yeah, super great bass player, great dude. Anyway, he is a fellow baldman. Bald guy. I don't know. And he was like, dude, it's time. And he kind of inspired it. It was probably August of 2019, I think, is when I made the decision to
Said fuck it.
to say fuck it and buzz it and, you know, say goodbye to the locks. I miss them sometimes. I had the old, like, it was a trashy mullet thing going on before I let it go, but I miss it.
See, I feel like
sometimes.
mine's gonna be on the way out. I know it. It's starting back here, so that's why this is my last hurrah. Try to grow a mullet,
dude.
I'm just gonna see how far it goes.
Let that thing shine,
We'll
bro.
see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I'm also like, once it gets bad, I'm like, I'm not gonna. Let's figure out how to cover this up. I'm like, you know what? Let's go balls,
dude.
I'm just like wondering, like, man, what's my head shaped under here? It's my only thing. I try on those like filters at Snapchat and like TikTok. I'm like, I don't know, man.
I think you look good, bald. You could pull
Honestly,
it off.
I think what's gonna nail it for me that I can do it is that I have a beard. If I didn't have one, like
that's the
I'd be
thing.
in real shit. It's like Big Baby style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
You
like,
have to
that's
have facial hair to do bald. It's one or the other. You can have hair and no facial hair, or it's like, so even if it's just a mustache, you have to have something if you're bald.
Unless you're like fit, like, you know what I mean. If you're like super like whatever, you can look like whatever you want.
Unless
but
you're
You look like whatever you
shit,
unless you're
not
Mr.
me.
Clean.
Yeah, Mr. Clean
Or
got
fucking
that
hitman.
Yeah, but not me. Yeah, definitely just slap a fucking diaper on me, baby, because that's gonna be me all the time. Just,
Yeah, like Danny DeVito in that episode of It's Always Sunny. It's the Germex all over him. Like,
fucking.
that's
Danny
what she looked like,
DeVito.
bald with no facial hair.
I've thought about just like shaving it off a lot more recently.
Dude,
honestly,
let the
I
lock-
could. And
Having a Britney moment, dude.
nah, not even like that. But I don't know. I don't know what I would do with it.
Let the
I
locks
don't know
flow.
what to do with it because it's thinned out a lot over the years. I don't think I've taken care of it the much as I could have or knew how. But
That's where I was at before I chopped mine.
Actually, you just
working
did that
at
recently,
hot-ass
actually, yeah.
Kitchen, yeah. Hot ass kitchen all the time. I just had it, pulled up,
Yeah.
or like under my hat or something. It's like it's always gross and stuff. It's like,
I said, "Fuck it."
what's the point? Been thinking about it for a while, so but
I've
it feels
been thinking
good.
about it.
Get you a mullet, Dusty.
Just go buy you a
Isn't that what you have?
$20 set of clippers from Walmart. And the world is yours.
Oh man, I got hooked on having a barber.
You're beautiful. It's true.
I got hooked on going to like a barber, which I was like, I never like went to. I'm just like, but I realized like it had to do a lot more with like self-worth and shit. I'm like, just do whatever the fuck you want to my hair. Cause like I would go and I'm putting my godmother on blast, but fuck it, they deserve it. I literally would go and be like, I want this, and be like, okay, and they'd just give me the standard haircut. I'm like, okay, I guess it doesn't fucking matter what I want. I guess
You're walking out there like military
man.
man.
It's just stupid. I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. So I was always like that, and I ran into like my barber who now her name is Puga. And she was like, hey, like, I'll do the first one for free. And I'm just like, what the fuck do I have to lose? You know what I mean? And then, like, it was just a nice experience overall. Like, I was like, oh, we'd, like, talk. We ended up, like, hanging out for, like, 3 hours, I think, or something, like, while she was doing my hair. And I didn't have a beard before. I had, like, just like a goatee. Because I was like, I can't grow a beard. It grows in patchy. I can't do it. And she was like, you can do it. He's like, just don't touch this part. I'm like, yeah, but then it starts getting all whiskery and it looks really dumb. And he's like, just don't touch it. Trust me. And we went back and forth on this for a while where I would like just shave it because I couldn't take it. But I finally let it grow and I grew a beard. And I was like, oh, and I remember telling her, I was like, oh, you knew like the whole time that it would work. And she's like, no, like,
Dang. Like rolling the dice.
He's like, I was just like, I was encouraging you to try to do it because I could style it in a way. It's like, but yeah, look, it worked. And I'm
She's like, I'm giving this guy a haircut for free.
She was
What
like,
do
no,
I
I didn't know that was gonna happen. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I was like, I don't know. Maybe that's manifestation. I believed and it worked. But yeah, I got hooked on it, and then like Puga became like one of my best friends, whatever. And then then I was like, okay, like if I don't do a lot of like luxurious things for myself, but that's like one that I'll do. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like I'll spend money on this. You know what I mean? While I can, because it's gone.
I wish I can grow. Like my beard grows shitty.
Same.
So I might need to learn.
Hey, you just need to believe, man.
Don't touch where?
Don't touch.
We're gonna go rub some crystals and light some candles and shit. Beard powers.
You gotta charge them, man. Full moon.
That's it, dude.
Oh, we had like that moon the other day. Did y'all see that? Oh wait, they were satellites. Never mind. I saw some lights the other day. It freaked the shit out of me. But they were like some satellite thing that happened in the Netherlands.
Who said that?
This is DJ UFO
Of course. Is it a weather balloon? Mm-hmm. Bullshit.
It was scary.
Oh man, the aliens are out there, dude.
They are, man.
We've known this.
They are.
They've been there.
Yeah, they've been. They ain't trying to
Tom
fuck with
DeLonge
us.
told us a long time ago, man.
Have you seen him like at his concerts and shit where he's like, hey, I was fucking right. And I was like, you know what?
Right,
Yeah.
he
Like,
was.
you were like way ahead of the curve.
He really was, man. And I don't know.
Because he became like super, like very divided in his fanship. Like a lot of people were just like, oh, he's fucking crazy now, like whatever,
dude.
and immediately like dropped. Because I remember that was a feeling that I had like when he was doing like Angels and Airways, and he was getting more into like the UFO stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I would talk to because I wasn't like super big into Angels and Airways or like even Blink, to be honest. No, they're good, but I never like got super into them. But I remember like talking to like the fans and stuff like that because I remember I saw them at a Warped Tour, the first Warped Tour I ever went to. I saw some cool people like Angels and Airways, Paramore.
Was it 2007?
It might have been.
That was the first one I went to. I think that because I saw Paramore at the 07 one. I think it was that one.
Oh, I saw Paramore. I remember I went for A Day to Remember because that was like the first band that I was super into. So I think it's like maybe not 2007.
Yeah, I mean, neither.
Well, I can't remember. I was in high school. It might have been.
They were big in 07. That's when that for those who have Heart Dropper, maybe 06, but
yeah. But I went for them, and I remember catching like them too. I always laugh because I was in my first mosh pit. Yeah. My first mosh pit was to fucking the Real Big Fish, that ska band. But they were fucking sick. They were so good. Yeah,
dude. I remember being at Warped 07, and my buddy was like into this band Throwdown, and like they were playing.
Throwdown's sick.
They're sick. They broke up. I found out for a while. I think they just got back together. I think they're playing that Furnace Fest or something.
Oh,
but man, I looked like to the right, and it was Yellow Card's drummer and Newfound Glory's bass player were hanging out together, like just watching Throwdown, and I was like, "Whoa, this is cool, man!" Like, whoa, Warped Tour,
Warped Tour. Yeah, Warped Tours. I think I only went to like 2 of them, but
I bought tickets for the last one for us to go to, and then we never went. I don't remember why we didn't go. I can't remember because I remember I got like the laminated little fucking holographic cards.
What happened?
And I was like, it's the last Warped Tour. Like, I've never fucking been to one. At least we should at least go to the last one. But I don't know what happened. I don't remember why.
I think that's
go.
like what any like festival I go, like ever since like my Warped Tour experience. That's like what I'm chasing all the time.
Yeah,
it's like that. But it's
The
like
first one.
I feel like it's just a combination of like not only like the music that was there, but like. I mean, I was young and didn't give a fuck about anything. That's all. Like, I spent my whole fucking days. I was fine with sweating my ass off. Now I'm like, bitch, like, oh, it's too hot out here. My knee hurts. Like,
I don't know. It's cool to like see bands that were like not so big then be big now.
Yeah,
like,
now they're huge.
That's nuts.
I saw A Day to Remember with The Devil Wears Prada in a Legion Hall in Pensacola, Florida in 2007. Like
Dang.
fucking people packed in there, probably a couple hundred maybe. And then I saw them again with Blink in like 2016 with like All American Rejects, I think at Dos Equis. And so it was like cool to see a band go from that fucking Legion Hall to this like, amphitheater thing. Like, dude, holy shit! Like, what a badass experience! Like for them. I mean, like and as a fan to watch a band grow like that is pretty cool. Like, have longevity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those moments. Like I always remember the first like So What I went to at the Plano Center, and I was like, it was back when I was like, I went by myself like to a thing, and I'm like, I think about that now, and it sounds so weird thinking, but like I don't do that shit anymore. And back then I was just like, yeah, like I wanted to see one band, and it was I was like super a Day to Remember fanboy, so I'm like, oh, I'm fucking going. And I remember like meeting them just chilling at their merch table, and I was like, oh, like. I was like, how are you not being swarmed by people? Like, what the fuck? And I was like, talk to them. I talked to Enter Shikari. Like, they were just like chilling. And like, that always baffles me how like huge they fucking are in the UK. And like,
not as much
recognition like in the States.
Yeah.
But
they played that Echo Lounge. And apparently it wasn't that well attended. And I think maybe a year or two ago now.
the Echo Lounge is fancy.
It looks tight.
That's the one by the Mavericks.
Yeah.
I've been to the show there. It's cool as hell.
Yeah, it's super like, it seems like really upscale.
Yeah, the stage is really cool.
It's a Live Nation venue, right?
Yeah, it's one of those Live Nation spots.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think of that. So what I saw, did you remember the Devil Wears Prada? I wrestled a bear once. I forgot like all these like bands that I literally like. I think I knew like two of them, but like so I look back on it now and I'm just like, oh, I saw all these bands, but like I wasn't into them at the time. So like it was just like me seeing a band. People were like, "Oh, you got to see them?" I'm like, yeah, but like I didn't know who they were. You know what I mean? So like it wasn't the same experience.
I've done that a lot.
Which sucks because I feel like
I don't care. I'm sorry.
I hate when I get that though. Like when I like end up being into that band and I'm like, well, I saw them, but I had no idea who they were. It's like had I known about them, that experience would have been different.
That was throwdown for me. Like at the time, I was like, oh, these guys are cool. Like I was just getting into kind of like that style of music, and then I found out like. I think that they had broken up at some point and like weren't a band for a long time, and I'm like, oh well, that's cool. I got to see them, I guess, but like
that's cool.
They sound like Pantera.
They're exactly the same.
It's like Diet Pantera.
It's very much the
Diet Pantera.
That was kind of like the niche. Like, oh shit, like this is like a next wave of it. But they're cool. They're all right. Did you ever go to like All Stars Festival? Do you remember that festival?
I don't think I ever went.
I'm thinking about like just the festivals I've gone to. Or like there's like a Sounds of the Underground when like heavy metal and like emo hardcore were on the same tour, and it was really conflicted because like a lot of the emo kids or a lot of the like the heavy metal dickheads didn't like the emo kids.
Scream the Prayer was like that, like with Impending Doom and Sleeping Giant and like Blessed by a Broken Heart. That old Chris Roetter band, not like Mazda Flames. A Graceful was the band he was in.
A Graceful,
little. I think that was his last stint in Christian music.
Chris Roetter, that was the original screamer for Emarosa, right? Yeah, that's which is insane to see what Emarosa started off as to see what it is now.
Christian music goes hard. I'm not gonna lie. There's some
Christian music.
Yeah, there's some metal, like there's some metal bands that are fucking like Darkness Divided was fucking badass.
Impending Doom,
they're
Christian.
Yeah, Impending Doom is fucking Christian.
Like August Burns Red.
August Burns Red, another fun.
What the fuck?
They're heavy.
Blessed by a Broken Heart.
That's what I got to see way back in the day. I was sitting there I was like, man, I need to get out more. I'm gonna go to shit, but I got one. I saw August Burns Red way back in the day in church in Amarillo. I didn't listen to him at the time, but I was like, holy shit, these guys go hard.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Under Oath, right?
Under Oath.
I liked them. Yeah, that was kind of my first like
So good.
taste of like, okay, this is really heavy, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It took me a while to like, circle back around to that.
You said at a church?
Mm-hmm.
There was like a huge trend of like bands would go play church shows. It was so
That was the
common
shows that I
to
would
see
go
for a
to.
hot minute, and now you don't really see it as often.
Yeah, it's very scarce now. That at least to my knowledge, but
Yeah, but I like the idea of just like these heavy ass bands playing in these churches, and no one does it anymore. I mean, I think they leaned on the fact like, oh, we're a Christian metal band or some extent.
yeah,
we were getting away with a lot of stuff at the same time, but it was they had the good stage and the nice facilities
and no
stuff.
one's using it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or like Lewis's studio's a church. You know what I mean? That's where
true.
he
Yeah.
rents out half that bitch, and now he's got a whole studio in that hoe. So I mean, that makes sense.
Word.
I mean,
Damn, so we need a church.
dude.
We gotta start a religion.
Yeah.
I've been trying to see. They have in that
Now
church,
we're
they do like Zumba classes and stuff like that, and it's got a stage and a huge ass like space. And I was like, I wonder if they'll rent this bitch out for like a venue.
Taking Zumba classes?
Yeah, for Zumba classes. Yeah, someone take some
The Hall of Noise Rot.
Yeah,
Noise Rodians.
The Noise Rot.
Audience.
Rotchins.
Rodins. Damn, started over religion.
Meet us on Sunday to get noise rotten.
Noise
Rotten.
Yeah, we were a little too on brand.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Roddy
Dude, so what,
research.
what was it? Everything like that we come up with, it's all brand. Like it's the most simplistic way of naming shit.
man.
Or literally, he was like, "Oh, like I think the Rod Swap thing. Didn't you come up to me? I was in the living room, and he was like, "Hey, so we have like this thing. I want to do like the singer songwriter thing. It's like a song swap." And he's like, "I just don't know what to call it." We're like, I think we had done noise night, so we used the noise or something, and I'm like, Rod Swap, and he's like, I don't hate that. I'm like, dude, we're so I go, I didn't fucking do anything. I just literally was like, we already used noise.
all
We
good.
used Rod.
Here we are, man.
That and Rotted Root sessions, and
Which that's been cool. It's been really
fun.
cool to have done 8 months now.
Yeah.
Almost a year's worth of shows.
It's a good time,
Yeah,
man.
it's cool. It's cool. The consistency.
I think it's such a really cool concept to be able to do it with like different types of like artists. You know what I mean? Like every like. I think like the post crowd like enjoys like that singer songwriter like stuff, but it's cool to bring in people who wouldn't normally like do that.
Yeah,
you know
because
what I
like
mean?
after like watching just the shows that come through the post all the time, I'm just like, I like how everyone just knows each other. Like all the singer songwriters, all like the country light rock guys, like they all know each other, and they all like have good energy with each other. And not to say like there's a segregation of music scenes, but like in like what I grew up in, a lot of the metal guys, like they all know each other, but there's like sometimes there's like a distance, or maybe you don't really like know them. It's like surface level.
Right, yeah.
But like these guys are talking about like, oh, how are your kids and blah blah blah, and like it's real wholesome. And I'm like, how do you develop that mentality?
Yeah.
Like in like what we do. And so I figured like it's cool to have the singer songwriter writers round, but instead of it being focused on just like the one genre, we get all types of cats to come out and do all types of things. And like you said, give them like a different light. Like I keep wanting to get fucking like pages turned. I think would be really cool on that. And there's a couple other guys that I'm like, oh, that'd be really sick to have these artists who play these acoustic shows, these stripped down sets, but they're like on metal bills, or they're like on like kind of obscure sets, and you're like, oh, like they don't really. And to be blunt, like some people will like just turn away, like, oh, I'm gonna go get a beer now, or blah blah.
Yeah,
they don't get
gotcha.
the actual focus on what they're doing. But in the post, that's considered the listening room, so everyone's focused on like the lyrical content, the artistry, and I'm like, that's sick. It's cool. Like, how do you take what's at the post and expand it? So
In addition, just like the artists interacting with each other is like really sick. Like you do an awesome job of getting everybody to talk and
Thanks,
stuff.
man.
Like literally, I'm like I fucking love watching you up there, like being able to guide like people and be able to talk to like, because we've had a range of artists, like some you know, some you don't, and you still have been able to carry like a conversation or topic, because at the root base of everybody, like everybody's a songwriter. You know what I mean? So that's the commonality. It's just like, hey, we all just write different type of stuff, but you like do a really good job of like doing that, of like being able to like get everybody to talk about their songs and stuff like that.
Thanks, man. I like hearing people that make noise different ways.
Yeah.
No matter how it is, whether you're doing it on a guitar or you have a keyboard, whatever it is, man. It's fun to interact with other creatives and creators, and hear people's approach to how they do things. Like I don't think anybody writes a song the same way.
No.
I mean, there's so many different ways to do it, and there's not a correct method, I don't think. I mean, granted, there's song structures, but there's not a correct song structure because every song is structured differently. I don't know. I'm going on a rant now.
I hear you.
It's something I'm passionate about and I love doing, and I don't know. I want to write more music and make more music and not ever quit.
Yeah, so I brought that up when the thing you're talking about, like no one writes the same. So I remember sitting in like your writing session when you wrote your last like project, and seeing the way you write songs, and just I always compare it to like how I approach stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's different. And then the other one that you did was like working on like Dizzy's projects and seeing the way Dizzy writes. I'm like,
crazy.
It's insane to me how this dude walks in with an idea and finishes that same fucking idea then, and just the way he writes and lyric, but like, and then seeing the way you write, like I think I'd seen both those sessions within like a span of a month of like seeing that time. And I'm just like, this is, and it brought like the idea of like, oh, like that's why like sitting in on shit that's different from yours like is helpful to like songwriting, because now I'm like, oh, I know the way like took some stuff from like the way you write stuff. I'm like, oh, I'd like to explore that a little bit more. Like, okay, it just gets me out of my own head where like sometimes I get into like, oh, the way I'm thinking about something is the only way it can be done.
Yep.
And then seeing it happen completely, something that I have no way of like fathoming how to write that way is awesome. And I'm just like, oh, okay, there's a whole other way to do this that's can be fun and keeps adding like it being interesting to like songwriting.
Yeah, just like changing your process up at some point, like it gets you into whole different places that maybe you weren't even trying to go, from the beginning. But like, sometimes you get stuck in a rut where your usual kind of process way you do things isn't really working out, and then you see, somebody else just do it completely differently. Like, what? I can do that, like that's, and then you're like, oh well, it loosens you up, and you're like, oh, there really isn't any like clamp or anything stopping you from it's just your own how do you want to go about doing it.
Does it sound good?
Yeah. And even I saw like a day or two ago, I think it was John Mayer said, it was some interview that he was in, was like I guess he was like I'm gonna butcher like the way that he said it, but like trying to write new music that like he personally didn't like, because he's like, sometimes you'll hear something and you don't like it and then it grows on you. He's like, who am I to say what's like good? And it's like, but it got down to like the process of just creating stuff to create, and
like learning to kind of like really like it, like you said, like it growing onto you.
Did you like it? Because I feel like I saw okay,
I saw
you know
quote,
what I'm talking about.
It's pretty smart, because it made me think like I've been like fucking around with like just beats and stuff. Like I don't really like making beats, but I was like, I just want to practice this, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. I was like, oh, that's kind of like I'm learning this and that as I'm going along, and then I end up liking the song itself. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's not bad.
Like sometimes you get stuck on a point because you're like, well, I don't really like the way this sounds. And it's like, does it really matter if you like it or not? Somebody else might love the way it sounds or something. Just like keep making it, and then you have a thing that you made.
For instance, like maybe we've all had this in some way or fashion, but like you show someone something that you're writing that maybe you're not particularly fond of, and like, oh, bro, that sounds so good, or like they love it. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you like? Like I'm not really trying here. Like I really feel like I could be doing more. Anyway, but like people have like. You're conditioned to be like, I need it to sound this way, or I'm aiming for this, where they don't have that. They're just like, oh, that just sounds cool, man. Like you do.
In your head, you're like, you have your idea of how you want it to, end up, or where you want it to go. So when it's not going that direction, then you're like, well, it's bad, or it's not working, or it's frustrating. But it's really just going a different, just let it do its thing and go, and then it's its own thing, and then you can try again at whatever else,
Yeah, it turns you off like the whole idea when it's not coming out the way you exactly want
Which
it to.
It has nothing to do with the value of the actual
of
idea.
It being,
because you're just biased because you're like, oh, well, it's not the way I wanted it, And it could still be a really good idea that you're just throwing away.
And then just like, I approach it like, I like in a consumer standpoint, when me just like taking in music, there's a bunch of songs that I've first listened, I'm just like, I'm not into it. No. And then like, I find myself like, humming a melody or like something being stuck in my head and be like, oh, and then, or if I listen to it a bunch of times, like I like this, like I just don't know why. And sometimes it's expectation when like especially like if it's a band dropping that I know and they drop something, I'm like, oh, that's not what I was expecting, and it's like, oh, okay, I don't like it, and it's not that I don't like it, it's just that it didn't meet whatever my expectation of it was. Yeah. But then when I let it like breathe and actually like play, I'm like, oh, like I do like this, and that's why a lot of the stuff that I initially like have like an apprehensive reaction to, it was just like, oh, I don't like this. I'm like, okay, I gotta let it like sink in and like, see if I actually like do.
I have like a 3 listening rule to like anything I listen to determine if I'm like a fan or if I just like the song. But like it's kind of elitist. It really is. It's kind of a dickhead thing, but it I don't know. It makes sense to me. But I'll listen like the first time and I'm just like taking it. I'm like, just play the song, blah blah blah. And I'll see how I feel. You know what I mean? And then the second time, I'm like, okay, let me focus on like the song structure, the instrumentation, what's the melody, what's the top line, and I'm like I'm like, oh, there's some creative stuff here. I really like this. And the last one's always like, okay, now that I understand like the bass, like what are the vocals telling me? What's going on here? What's the story? Is it like a sky high buy thing, or are they really trying to say something? And then I'm like, if they hit all 3 marks, I'm like, oh, I'm a fan. You know, like, this is the shit. But like, it kind of helps me compartment.
There you go. Sound it out. You got it.
It helps me just know where I stand with the music sometimes.
You sound like a producer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost like you have to have a way to sift through just tons and tons and tons of music all the time.
It kind of sucks though, because sometimes like I feel like I just didn't shut up and enjoy the music, bro.
I have the same problem though. Like, I'm always listening to like, you hear the song and it's like, all right, what's the structure of it? Oh, cool. Like, that's not just, verse, chorus, verse, bridge, like whatever it is. Like, I find myself taking note of like other song structures. Like maybe I'll write a song, with this layout. Like, the Beatles, like something as simple as that. Those dudes like have some genius fucking song structure and made some hits. So if you just go and, figure out what they did and do it yourself, maybe you'll have a hit too.
No, you're right. I've done it where I was writing like some personal music and I was referencing a band called Basement and another band called Can't Swim, and I wrote down like all their bridges and verses and blah blah. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I see what you're doing, and I'll try to write a song similar too. But then when you do crack the code, and then you start realizing the whole album is kind of just like the same structure. That's when I'm like, damn, I wish I didn't know this. I really like this song, but now
it's like seeing the wizard behind the curtain.
Like, okay. And like I have a habit of like, I like to air drum songs even if they don't have drums, and I have a thing where like, if I can guess the next part that's coming up, I may not like it as much. But that's why sometimes like I think Sleep Token really got me. There was like a few moments where I was like, oh shit, that threw me out, and I'll shut up. I'll be like, "Oh, that's good. That's really good." But if I can guess where it's going, I'm like, "All right, well, that's cool."
I think that's kind of the initial thing that got me into like like math rock sort of stuff, which is like so many different things now. But that improv, just like that kind of like progressive, like alternative, heavy music, but then you'd have that point where like they go into like up into playing in 5 or in 7 or something. You're like, oh, okay, now I gotta like refigure out where I am. And same thing with like jazz or like Snarky Puppy type stuff. Really busy, crazy. It's like, I don't know. It makes my brain fizzle.
I like
in ways
like
that
the
I like.
journeys of it. There's a band called Between the Buried and Me, and they do like crazy shit throughout. And they got a formula too.
I just got really into Dillinger Escape Plan.
Hell yeah!
Like this fucking the chaos is just fucking beautiful. Like, and Better Lovers, the E-Tid Dillinger band. I
haven't checked that out.
Their EP, dude, holy shit, it's so good. The first song is called like Sacrificial Participant or something like that. Killer.
LS Dunes?
LS Dunes is killer too.
That's killer stuff too.
I need to re-listen to that record. I only gave it the first listen through.
That's what Anthony Green's new project?
Yeah.
With Frank from Mike Him and some Coheed dudes, and I forgot who else.
I forget who else.
That should be cool.
Who are they touring with? They just announced a tour, didn't they? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's where I heard the name. I think that's where like I discovered that Anthony Green had a new project. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Okay.
Dude, he's in so many bands, and like his first solo record is my favorite one. It's got Dear Child, I've Been Trying to Reach You on it, Drug Dealer, Miracle Son, songs like that. Like, killer writing. I think Good Old War, if I'm not mistaken, was the band that played on that record with him.
Heard.
But yeah, dude, he's so versatile as a musician. Like, whether it's with Seosin or Circus Survive, like whatever he does, I think, wasn't he in Sound of Animals Fighting too?
Yeah.
Like initially or whatever. Like
I went back to that first Sailson album earlier.
Yeah.
It was gold.
The one they did a couple years ago, I guess 2016ish maybe, whenever that was, whenever he came back in the band, like fast, aggressive shit, super cool. Can't remember the song names, but they have like videos in like a warehouse type situation.
Oh, heard.
But it's cool.
Yeah, I think I've only seen Anthony Green in Circa that one time we saw him at Gas Monkey Live, and then the fucking power went out. Oh, no. Yeah, so he. I mean, it was kind of.
Damn, you have great memory.
I just remember the randomest things.
That's how like.
Yeah, I don't remember shit.
I was like,
I don't remember shit.
Random memories, not shit that is helpful. Like, but yeah, I remember the power went out like halfway, or like maybe like 2 songs in, and then they're like, oh, and it just came back out. And they were like waiting to see if it would come back on, and he ended up just playing like an acoustic set. Someone I think had I can't remember what they were lighting him up with, but they were lighting him up with something, and it was just like a guitar, and that's all they had power to. Yeah, so it was kind of a neat experience, but like I've never got to see like him play in a band, and I think after that is when he like rejoined Seosin, which I had always heard about. Yeah. The Anthony Green era, but I never experienced I didn't listen to Seosin with him in it.
Same actually. I listened to the guy after him. I
don't know his name, but
I'm most bummed that like Dance Gavin Dance, I saw them with what's Tillian on vocals, but I really wanted to see like the Johnny Craig or Kurt Travis era.
Yeah,
I liked the Tillian era.
I don't hate it.
It was kind of my jam more so.
It's cool. I mean, he's been the longest, hadn't he? He's like
now, but I mean,
they need to get rid of him. That's my hot take. My hot take is like they should have kept the trend of just like finding new vocalists for him. And I wanted, dude, not every record, but like give everybody an era. And like I'm like Dance Gavin Dance would live forever, dude, because he would have like different eras of stuff. But again, that's not how bands work. Yeah. But I always I found the EP. Dance Gavin Dance's EP is the first thing I listened to, and that's when I like heard Johnny Craig, and I was like the biggest Johnny Craig like fucking fanboy of all fucking time.
Him and Emarosa was good.
That's when I heard. That's the second thing I heard. So I skipped Downtown Battle Mountain, and I went to Emarosa, that Relativity album, and it was just like, what the fuck is this? I go, why do I love this? And then my friends at one point, I was like, well, that's Johnny Craig again. It's just like a different, it's him with this. But that's something I guess I can bring up. He's touring that album.
What?
Yeah, literally, like he just announced a tour where he's touring Relativity with Emarosa, and I'm like, can you do that? No, just he's just singing his Emarosa song, because Emarosa like did away with like their post-hardcore era, like they're writing pop stuff now, which is good. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, Johnny's such a fucking very like it's out of character you can get behind.
MacBook Johnny.
But I almost bought one of them fuckers, man.
No way.
I was like, I need a computer. Sounds like a deal. I remember that whole fucking scandal.
Kids.
I remember that whole scandal. It's so fucking nuts that Rise ended up covering everything. Like the record label ended up like paying everybody back like the money and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, that's how much like y'all we're still trying to like make it work like with Johnny. I'm like, that's nuts after something like that. And it just had like problematic shit after problematic. I don't know how to feel about those like separate artists from like the art type of shit. It's a really weird conversation.
I saw
it's like a case by case.
Yeah, I think so.
Like I don't know.
I saw Brand New a week before Jesse Lacey got canceled.
Yeah,
like, that fucking broke my heart. I was just like, fuck, dude. Like,
I hate it because I think I had like, I mean, they don't ever cancel Johnny, but everybody knows it could be. I think I'm not gonna say he got lucky, but I think he was like, they were just like, he's a shitty person, so every time he was doing shitty things, they were like, yeah, that's what he does.
That's what we expect from him.
But like, I remember who got, I think Tyler Carter of Issues had gotten canceled, and I fucking loved Issues. And then I love a band called I the Mighty, and like they're fucking like vocalists too. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, and then the Emarosa guy got temporarily canceled. Apparently he beat the case. Wow. I don't know, Bradley, the new singer. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna fucking like anybody. I'm just gonna like music and not give a. And honestly, since then I stopped really looking at who members are, who does stuff. I'm like, I know the project as a whole, like, and I don't know who this person is. I stopped following people like on Instagram or on anything. I'm like, none of these people are like, it's just music, like for now, which kind of like sucks because it took like person. So I've been trying to dive back into like, okay, I do want to know because like there's some of these songs that I listen to. It's like, oh, I want to know like about this person because they're writing these cool things. It just kind of sucks that comes along with it. But I mean, everyone's a fucking person, so everyone's allowed that type of shit. You know what I mean?
People it's be just shitty.
They do.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be shitty myself sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
same.
It is what it is.
It's not the best.
Yeah, but fuck. You actually, Dusty, just wrote and recorded something, right?
Yeah. We've pretty much got the masters back.
Yeah, did you get everything back?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So yeah, I just got to get my shit together and get a release plan going. But yeah, it's just a solo record, acoustic guitar, vocals. Some of the songs I've been like writing, playing over the past like couple of years. So I haven't done any like any band stuff in a while since like Rorschach days. But I playing rip. But I've been playing like solo, just by myself, like patio gigs, that kind of thing. And at some point it's like, well, if anything, it's like a snapshot. Like I just want to capture, those songs so that they, are there and they don't go away. But and I'll still be playing, but I don't have like huge plans for it. It's more, I don't know. It's as much like for me recording it as it is, to like share with other people.
It's like putting them down so they're actually like an actual almost tangible,
it's like tangible thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just like something that's written down in the notes on my phone or a song that I remember, because I've learned over the last 10 years that it's a lot easier to figure your own songs than you think it is.
Yep.
So
you got to record them going through right now with your project. Y'all need to get on this to finish his solo project.
This goddamn solo thing that I've had for years, but I was sitting down with it the other day and I was like, man, I need to relearn my own material. And I'm like listening, I'm like, the fuck am I doing? Like, why is I got these complicated ass chords and all this crazy shit going. I'm like, I need to calm down. But it's I forget how to play a lot of that. It's kind of pissing me off, man.
Yeah.
Me mad.
I lost pretty much a whole Rorschach album that way.
So you were telling me that, and that shit is so
sucks.
upsetting.
It still kind of fucks me up, to be honest. But that's the EP that we got, the Daybreak EP, was like basically what was like salvaged like from that. By the time that I kind of got my stuff together and decided to really do something again, but. There was so much. It was. I mean, I'm really proud of it. That's I think working with Nathan Gass on it, and he recorded it, and then Jordan Tucker and Parker Anderson. Always love them, the homies. So it felt really good. And then we had Morgan, and we had Ansley doing the backup vocals. So it was a lot of friends. Came out really good. It's kind of like, the end of that sort of like era, I guess, of Rorschach. But there were so many other songs that I had in mind, and it was like a whole concept album, and like motifs throughout and connecting bits, and like it was like a whole piece, basically broken up into sections that were the different songs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was way too complicated. So just trying to go off of like my notes and like, that sort of stuff. Like I eventually I lost a phone and like my computer went down, and I tried to go back and was like, there's no way. Like it's just gone.
See, I feel bad enough that.
So record your stuff.
Yeah. I feel bad enough that with our band, we just didn't finish like.
Bro, there's some good songs.
A few songs, and we're just like,
in the vault.
Damn, these would have hit. Like, but we can't. We couldn't get our shit together to finish one damn song. Like, we had so many fucking like ideas, and I'm like, yeah, these are just done.
Yeah, they were solid.
Yeah.
It was stuff that I was gonna be more proud of that week, because I felt like the EP was more like still kind of getting each other's flows and type of shit. But then that second round would have been tight.
Yeah, we were figuring out like how to actually write songs because I remember like during the first EP when we were writing newer stuff, actually when we go back to song structure and stuff like that, I remember you pointed out where I was like, oh, like this song could go to this right now, and I was really excited about it, and he was like, oh, that's just like this song, and I'm just like, what? And it's just like that glass just fucking shattered, and I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, oh yeah, we do the same thing like on this song, and he's like, oh, actually we do it on that song too, and I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
Wait a minute.
I go, here I am thinking I'm a goddamn genius, and I'm just writing the same fucking song over. I'm like, oh
That's what
fuck,
it-
yeah, it was something like that, and it was like it happened with like another like melody that I wrote, and like, yeah, you wrote that before, and I'm just like, oh god, I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, like the newer stuff like was definitely like pushing to like stuff that I was writing that wasn't like anything that I had written before, and even like the rest of the band like was writing, and it felt like we were getting an idea together, because like I bring this up a lot, but the EP, the newest song on the EP when we released it was 3 years old,
Right.
like it was, and everything else was way older than that, you know what I mean? So it's when I talk about like people like releasing music now, it's like, oh, you need to release it like when in inappropriate time, because like that EP would have hit when those songs were written. You know what I mean? 3 years before that, I go, that EP would have been like fucking great. Yeah. But by the time we put it out, it's like, oh, like people are writing way cooler shit, you know?
Yeah. You're already, behind the curve.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Same thing. And then again, that continued to be like the band's problem, because like when we released singles after that, they were both 2 years old.
I was going to say, like, you the way you said it just now, but a lot of acts, regional, local, national now, like it's like that writing is elevated now. Mm-hmm. A lot of people write like really good songs.
Yeah.
Like even at a local level, I'm like, fuck, y'all are like talented. What the fuck? Yeah, no, it's the writing has gotten a lot more sophisticated.
No, Rod Swaps have definitely like showed that to me. Like I can't remember there's two artists that I'm just recently. The kid from South State, I can't remember his name.
South State.
Samson,
yeah, write some catchy shit. But other guy, is it Jacob? No, it's
the guy from
the
Laredo?
kitchen. No, the guy from the kitchen.
Busey?
Josh Busey.
Josh Busey.
Yeah.
Josh Busey made me fucking cry.
So good. Yeah,
Dude,
Busey
I dead ass like my girlfriend's is like, are you crying? I'm like, bro, this song is so fucking beautiful. And like, it just took me back. I'm like, I don't know when the fuck I've had this happen to someone that I have never heard play before, don't even fucking know him, don't know the song, and I'm just listening to it for the first time, like, this is so fucking good. So I'm like, what the hell?
He's about to move to Nashville. I know that.
He's gonna fucking make it.
Dude, he needs to record. I've been like, bro, do a single. Like, it's so good. Like he and I don't know. He's just he got to figure it out. Like he's a great writer. It's just like record and go play more shows, bro.
Yeah, like the fact that I didn't like, I was like, how do I not know who this kid is? You know, and
he's great, man.
Catchy stuff, like emotional stuff. I'm like, dude, you got what you're doing. Like it's. I had a similar experience like when I really paid attention to Cannonball. I think I had the same like emotional reaction to it. But I knew I've heard Cannonball like a few times, so like it was definitely different. But I think Rod Swap, and even hearing you like mixing it over and over, like listening to that, I'm just like, fuck, this song's really fucking good. Like
it's gonna be on the new CD.
Yeah,
so check it out.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
But yeah, like
self promotion.
No, hell
that's
yeah.
That's what this is for.
Right? Yeah.
Jinx, bitch. Bro, hell no. We have that shit all the time where we like say the same. I was like, dude, we hang out too much. We a bunch of fucking get out of my brain moments.
That feeling I got with Josh when I first heard him play was the same thing that I've had with each of you. Is why I'm like, fuck, like y'all are really talented. It makes me mad.
You're pretty fucking talented, DJ.
I'm okay.
You got some mad skills, dog.
He's
multi-instrumentalist, producer.
Release the DJ cut.
That's the thing. I keep finding out more shit that you do. I'm like, wait, he plays that?
He
too?
does it all.
He plays bass too, and he screams, and he drums,
and he makes beats,
drums, and making beats.
Dude,
stop.
He does it all.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's a hardworking man over here. Both of you.
Bro,
straight up.
Let's do
something.
That's why I work.
Noise rock.
Because like I always see, I'm like, damn, DJ's not taking a break.
No, I think if I could just figure out like work life a lot more, I think that'd be able to like cut back on stuff because like during COVID I was like chilling. I was doing nothing.
I bet, bitch.
It was badass.
So-
I was like, man, I'm gonna enjoy the shit out of this. And I kept telling myself like when I go back, I'm gonna work like 3 days out of the week. And I worked like 3 days out of the week. And then when they approached me with about bar managing, I was like, if I do this, that's it. Like I'm not gonna have time for shit. And sure enough, it's been like that, and I can make it balance. But I don't know. Sometimes I don't. And this is a bitch thing to say, but sometimes after work, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be creative.
I understand. No,
some
dude.
people are
I go
gonna
home
come for
and
me for
sit
that.
my ass down
No,
and
bro,
play
if you really care about it, you're
PlayStation.
gonna do it and blah blah. I hear you. I get it. I'm tired.
No, dude.
Sometimes you just get your ass rocked and you just want to chill, or
Yeah.
like, you know.
It just depends where you're at. So like actually I brought this up, like it's literally been a year since like I quit my last job, but that's the way I felt coming from that. It wasn't hard, like it wasn't difficult or anything like that, but I was at a place that I didn't want to be there, and I didn't get to use it felt like I wasn't using my brain or creativity or anything like for 8 fucking hours out of the day. And then like, oh, I got to just flip it on. Like when I get home, I'm just like, no, like I don't want to do anything. Everything felt like very taxing, very like, fuck, I don't want to do this. And that when I hadn't even like, this happened sudden, like that I got a new job, but I had made the decision before. I'm like, I need to find something that relieves that. Like I can't like feel shitty all day and then come home and want to build something, especially because we were already doing like noise rot stuff. Then I'm like, there's so many things that I want to do, but if I don't have the
Creative
effort
stuff
for them,
takes a lot out of you.
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
think some people realize like at least for me, like my brain's going on max, like it wears you out.
yeah. And if you're already like coming home like worn out and like I was like, I'm not gonna fucking want to do anything, you know. And then this job like allows me to, you know, work from home some days. So I'm like, oh, I can work on my own projects, or like at least be in a more relaxed state. And even then, even when I'm like have to go like to the office, it's still like such a better like work environment that I'm in. That I don't come home feeling that way. I come home and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I now have a job that allows me to come home and still do this stuff and want to do it. Yeah. But that's like a big ass deal, and it's bigger for a lot of people who like aren't artists or don't do anything like creatively like necessarily like that. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to them where they're like, well, you know, you just come home and you write a song, you know, and it's it's not
You can work your 8 hours and then go work 8 hours at home on your like, dude, like what, like.
Yeah, and it sucks because like I've heard some people were like, yeah, you know, I haven't, you know, picked up the guitar in like this amount of time, or I haven't like done this, and it's fucking sad because I'm like, dude, like especially when like you've met some of these musicians, I'm like, dude, you're fucking great, like what do you mean? But there's other shit that's beating you down, so it stops like their creativity, and that's like what really sucks. So
Been fucking there.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, that's like the hole that I'm trying to dig myself out of. To be, like, totally honest, from like post like Rorschach going down to like now, you know, it's just been, oh, life's too hard, you know, poor me, you know, can't get my shit together enough to do fun stuff that I want to do again. And, you know, at a point you're like, I'm just fucking tired of this. Like, I'm just going to try to make it work regardless. So,
Yeah, like something I've been telling myself is like, okay, there's a lot of things that I want to do. And if I want to do them well, I got to get comfortable sleeping like 4 to 6 hours. Right. Because after that, like I'm either up because being at post, I mean, we don't get, at least y'all get out a little bit early, but we average maybe 12:30, maybe 2 a.m. depending on how busy it's been. You know what I mean? And so when I get home, it's like 2:30, and then I'm like, okay, let me get whatever emails out the way or whatever shit out the way and mix whatever I need to mix, whatever. And then as far as being creative for my own time, like I don't get to clock myself in for me. Like I'm always like on noise rot time or post time or whatever the fuck ever time.
Yeah.
And so like when I've just come to the realization, it's like, okay, if I want to do shit that I want to do, like I gotta get comfortable not sleeping, and it's been okay.
I don't know if I want to condone that. Yeah, kid, if you want to do what you love, don't
stop sleeping.
These are my friends, the shadow people. This is Henry and Wallace. Like, we hang out all night together.
I know it's not the healthiest.
Do you have any more coffee?
gotta get some sleep, dude.
yeah, DJ, you gotta sleep, all right? Yeah, no.
I feel like I just outed myself.
He did. It was like, hey, man, this is now an intervention, DJ. You need
Take
to
a
sleep.
nap, dog.
You need to sleep. Take a nap.
As soon as we
What
wrap,
are you
taking
doing
a nap
up
now.
right
This is
now?
just in
What are you
your
doing
head.
up right now?
wrap and nap.
rapping nap. Yeah, fuck no. Yeah, you need to get some rest.
I'm not like deprived. I'm fine. It's not as bad as it make it sound.
I'm fine.
I don't know, man.
I do gotta do,
What were you
I do gotta do
saying?
inventory after this stuff.
Yeah,
It's a tough balance, though.
It is.
It truly is hard out here for a pimp.
truly is hard. It's a hard balance, but like nailing it is what allows you to create. That's why like a lot of the stuff that I do now, with the transition that I made in my head was like, I need to do this just for the sole reason of like it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, once I'm there, like everything that comes extra out of that, like is fine. But that's my minimum. That's the reason why I do things. So I'm like, if I get stuck working at a job, but I get to do shit that makes me happy like forever, I'm like, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? That's my minimum. And I think before I used to assign everything to like, oh, it needs to get me notoriety. It needs to get me money. Like every idea was, I don't know, lesson. Like it wasn't worth the idea unless I could tell somebody like, because I would get that from like some of the people that I knew. It was like, oh, like I'm doing something and I was excited about it. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, oh, y'all get gigs that we were playing with the band. It's like, oh, did y'all get paid? And I'm like, oh, all right, that's not my. So immediately I was like, oh, well, I guess like it wasn't a great time because you know we got paid. It was like a little bit, or stuff like when we started Noise Rock, same thing. I get the same questions. It's like, oh, well, like how much is the business? I'm like, we just started. You know what I mean? It's fun. Like we're figuring it out. But it was always like there was always a number to it, and if the number wasn't there, then like it would make me feel like it was, why is it worth pursuing? It's basically why people would like, I mean, so I had to like set all that aside and be like, fuck it. If all it does is make me happy, it's fucking doing its job. Like that's what it does. And that's why like everything that I do now, like the fucking podcast, everything we do with Noise Rock, create stuff that I create, I'm like, it makes me like, as long as some aspect of it is making me happy, then I'm gonna fucking keep doing it.
As long as it allows you a space to be creative and you know, get to use that part of yourself. I think I'm kind of on a similar thing too, because I always, you know, wrote for like an intention of like, okay, you know, I want this to be, you know, good and I want people to see it and, you know, build the thing and this and that. And I feel like now it's more, I'm like, who cares if anybody shows up to the show or not? I just want a reason to go like hang out with some dudes and like play some music every week, you know, just so it's like, just doing it for the purpose of creating that time for yourself to be able to do it and just have a good time and, you know, use your creative brain.
Yeah, because like, I think as a creative, you need it. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, because you feel right otherwise.
No, exactly. You know? Yeah, if I didn't do the things I do, I don't know. I'd lose my fucking mind. I'm not good at many things.
No.
Like I like music, and that's all I give a shit about. After that, I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Like I think about that sometimes. I try not to think about it too much, but I'm always like, I'm always like, if I wasn't doing like any of this, I go, and if I was just working a job, I go, what, you know, what would that be like? But then I reflect back on like when we had the band in high school and we stopped doing it. Those were those years, and those years, like I was like maybe 5 or 6 years where I wasn't doing anything creative, and like there were some terrible times. You know what I mean? I was literally, all I was doing was working and drinking a shit ton. And like, that was life like for years. And I'm like, dude, like how the fuck was I getting up in the morning to like do the same? And it was like the same fucking thing every week. And I'm like, that's fucking nuts that I went so long and I was fine with like these little things. But then like, my creative like was starting to seep in like through like different places with like the band. I was started making like when Vine was a thing. I remember started making like little videos and stuff because I like it was some way that I had to like get my little creative thing out. And then once like all that stuff just built into like more and more and more what I do now. And now I'm like, dude, I have to do like this or something like with it because it feeds that part of like my brain that needs to like be creative. Yeah.
And if you stopped, then you'd be back in that, you know, what do I do? You know, I'm bored. Oh, I guess I'll just go get drunk or, you know, sit here and watch Netflix for 9 hours, you know, and it sucks.
I can't drink. It's kind of helped. I've lost my ID like 2 years ago. So I've just been kind of raw dogging life. But it's helped me not go out. You know? Yeah. It's helped me not, I mean, being that we work at a bar, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I can get drunk here. But I try to keep a golden rule. Like, don't get drunk at work, man.
Right,
I shouldn't. I think get like nice and buzzed, but I'm not going to get like the drunk I want to be.
Right. Yeah.
My favorite drug is reality television.
Reality what show?
What are you watching?
God. So right now, Southern Charmed. It's fucking terrible. It's like these people in South Carolina, these rich, awful fucking people. It's good.
It's good.
But we just finished Vanderpump Rules. Watch all of those. It's like this California restaurant, a couple restaurants in California. This lady Lisa Vanderpump. She was on one of the Real Housewife people or something, and it's kind of like her and her husband's empire.
That sounds like such a made up name,
Dude.
Vanderpump.
It's a real.
Lisa Vanderpump.
It's wild, but it's real.
It sounds like the rich villain in like a movie. Or
No,
something.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, she kind of looks like a rich villain, like in a way, so it fits. But that was hitting just
But you can't.
for a while there. But
You were Vanderpumping it into your veins,
I
baby.
was getting Vanderpumped up, and then like it ended, and now like. No, we're watching The Sopranos. Marissa's never watched it before.
I've never watched it. I've been
Dude,
wanting to
it's
hit
so
that.
good.
Yeah, I need to
I
watch
just watched
that.
it for all the way through for the first time this past year.
This is my
Hell yeah.
this is my
Yeah.
third time. It's great.
Heard. I've just been on an anime kick. I need to watch
Word.
more. I need to watch some stuff with some substance. I mean, anime's got
Anime
some
has some
substance. Yeah, it's got some
substance. Yeah,
substance.
yeah.
It does a little bit of self-reflecting.
They're all the same. Yeah. I have like such a hard time starting new shows and shit like that. Like I just like the fear. I'm like I need to be able to commit to watching all of this, and it's like okay, like I can't remember what the last thing that I really saw like new and paid attention. Oh, probably like The Last of Us. I really
cool.
fucking love that. But that's because like I love
never
the
played
games.
game, though.
Yeah.
Dave was funny.
Dave was
Never
great.
finished it.
You haven't finished Dave?
I haven't finished it either, but
What?
Yeah, I need to finish Dave.
I love that show.
Yeah.
I think that show
I don't even know.
is really cool.
Lil Dicky.
Lil Dicky, he has got a show.
There's a lot of
It's wild.
like, social topics and like,
Yeah.
It does.
God, it's
It does
Gay
really
so
good
well.
at
It's so
making.
well done.
There's like some episodes like the. I remember when they tackled like Gata's anxiety and shit like that. I'm like, bro, that's exactly how that shit feels. I'm like, oh fuck, like it made me uncomfortable. But there's like, there's a lot of stuff where like I wasn't not expecting this show to be like this. Yeah. I don't know. There's a certain show where like it's caught me off guard like that. I remember watching. You remember when we watched what's the fucking superhero show? Invincible.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember that
that's
one like
pretty cool.
call me off guard. And I'm
First
just like, oh
episode,
fuck,
you're like,
yeah,
oh, dude, goddamn.
yeah, everyone's dead. But yeah, there's like that show tackles a lot of like topics. I'm like, oh fuck, like, it should have been like a silly, stupid show, and I'm like, oh, why is it serious? Like it's uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
Big Mouth.
I stopped liking it. Yeah, it got too much.
Fucking weird.
Yeah,
I
it got too
enjoy
much. I'm like, I don't know about this.
That's the Nick Kroll one, right?
Yeah.
I think I saw a couple of the first season. That's it.
I think I saw the first two, and then I think
They got, like,
it got,
spin-offs
It
now
got
and
too
stuff.
much.
It's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
It's a whole little universe.
Oh yeah. All right. Fuck. Oh shit. Yeah. We're at like an hour and a half.
Word.
Yeah. Damn.
Cool.
Okay. Do you have like a date for your album to come out? That's fine. You don't need to have one. No,
I
you have one.
should. I'm getting it together.
A
It's
big
fine.
thing's coming soon.
Big things
okay.
coming
Big
soon.
things coming.
Definitely like before Christmas for sure.
Cool.
Thinking like fall time.
The
You do
better
like
times.
a whole video and or you gonna just you can do like a whole complimentary like music video or anything like
I
that?
don't know, maybe.
He's gonna be nude in a pile of leaves,
Yeah,
and they're gonna be just sitting in the tree, and the wind's gonna
That's a good
blow.
idea.
Hell yeah.
And then like a guitar is gonna magically pop up. He's gonna stand and start singing to us.
Linda
I'll direct your
Vanderpump's
video.
gonna be there too.
I'll direct your video. It would get
I don't know,
clicks.
We'll see. We'll see.
Hell yeah.
Tight.
It is coming soon.
And Ryker, when you recording new music?
Dude, I don't know. I'm doing Rod Swap.
It's true.
That's pretty much what I've got. I'm doing some other little shows and gigs, but no band stuff for the rest of the year probably. And I'm writing, trying to get some new songs together. I have 2 that are kind of coming together slowly but surely. They're little fragments, but they're developing into a full blown.
I'm down. I'm
thing.
telling you, if you want a session, just a writing session, just come in here and
I'd love
just
to.
keep tracking just till you're happy with it, and then get you ready for like a studio. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be
I'm
fun,
down for
man.
the whole 9.
We need to make some more music. Making that record was super fun.
That was fun. It was a good
was
time in
fun.
my life.
Good time.
Had routine,
Yeah.
had productivity.
Download Dystopian Chic on
There you go.
Yeah.
Apple Music and
Do that.
Spotify and Pornhub, wherever you get your tunes.
Sick. And DJ, what you got going on? Actually, this won't be out in time for our next show, but
I'm going to bed. No, I
and
don't know.
DJ will be getting sleep.
DJ's getting some sleep.
If you see DJ out in the streets, make sure you tell him how many hours he got.
The shadow people are not really there. Henry and Wallace are not real.
Let's just drink a bunch of C4s and
And have
Celsiuses.
what is it? The when you can't move.
Oh, sleep paralysis?
Sleep paralysis.
Oh,
Fuck
Bro,
sleep
that
paralysis.
shit's scary. I've
Yeah,
never
I know.
had it, but like the way it's been described to me from a couple of friends, I'm like,
That's
that
when
sounds
I see the shadow people.
fucking
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, it's fucking
Remember
awful.
your bed.
Hell nah, bro.
It's
I
awful.
already see shit as it is. Nah.
That shit was awful, like happening, and then when it got explained to me what happens, it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, your brain wakes up before your body. I was like, that's still fucking fucked up. It still doesn't make it better.
Why is my
Like,
brain
what do you
hanging out
mean?
with him?
Yeah, I was like, I was like, Rich, y'all work together. What the fuck is this shit? Yeah, complete
I
bullshit.
don't know why this popped in my head. There was one time I was sleeping and we were at the apartment and I heard gunshots going off. But you ever been so tired that you just don't give a fuck? Like you just don't
Yep.
care. And I remember waking up and I was like, and I like rolled off the bed and I slept on the floor because I was like, at least I won't get hit. I don't know why that popped in my head. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. This was this is my way to celebrate my birthday, which is tomorrow. But yeah, this was just gonna be fun talking to y'all.
This
Y'all
has
are
been
cool.
lit, dude. Thank y'all for having me, man.
Hell yeah, y'all are welcome back anytime. Even you.
me too.
Even you.
Damn.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. This has been episode 83 with Ryker Hall, Dusty Calcote, Daniel Alvarez, aka DJ, and I've been your host, OC. We'll see you guys next time.
Sounds and breakdowns.
Better lose your man. We should run away together while we still can.